I haven't made a YouTube video for a few months. Um, since I think November when the Pearl and Pebbles Hotel had closed down. Then I went to the Shoreview Hotel, which also closed. Uh, and then I think they've reopened again. But I'm in another hotel. Um, I've been making the live streams on Facebook, and now Facebook won't let me make any live streams, which is not surprising. By the way, I've got a food stain here, which doesn't look good. My clothes are dirty. I'll explain. So I've been up Beachy Head suicidal in tears, and I'll explain why. All thanks to Eastbourne Police and Eastbourne Borough Council. So what has happened? In a nutshell, because I really don't have the energy. Obviously, I've been crying on Beachy Head in the pub. I went to the Beachy Head pub. Yes, that's our world famous suicide spot. Anyone watching this who's in America, you do me a favour. If anyone in America is watching this, I want to contact that woman that works for Donald Trump, and I am being serious. This woman that works for Donald Trump is helping victims of the freedom of speech. They're helping people like me into asylum. Yes, asylum seekers from the UK, because I am a refugee in my homeland. This hotel was closed down and used for asylum seekers because the member of staff that I've been in distress to today had told me that when COVID broke out in 2019 and I saw through it all, and I came here to get away from me and other Indigenous people were kicked out of this hotel. There was a man from Kent who had to go and sleep. This is an Eastbourne hotel. A man from Kent was forced to sleep in his car when Eastbourne Borough Council wouldn't help him and his mother was dying of cancer. So there you go. Yes, people are being forced to sleep in their cars. It's happening in Australia as well. So yeah, why have I been up Beachy Head suicidal crying today? I'll tell you why. I've just come back down. I've spoken to the Beachy Head chaplains. Right. Well, on Friday I was sexually assaulted outside my door, my room door. Twice I was touched by a young cannabis using sexual predator. Doesn't matter if he's 19, he's still an adult. Touch is touch. I had the police out to me twice. I've been lied to. Oh, I've got it all going on. All going on. And in a nutshell, basically, the member of staff that I reported it to, that looked on the CCTV, doesn't want me here now. Now, if you excuse the mess because I haven't cleaned up the room, I'm out of. I've got OCD. I'm not sleeping. I am being what you would call gang stalked in a just call a spade a spade. I was moved from the first floor to the second floor. I've got the lift doesn't work. I've lost a lot of blood due to stress, something that's never ever happened to me in my entire life. When that landlady locked me out of the house, I've got to be careful what I say because I know this demented landlady is watching me. My partner has only just, I've only just spoken to him. I'm feeling I don't trust him. I don't see the point of going on anymore. Um, his friends have abused me and they're meant to be Christian. I'm always praying for me and Darren and my sisters, always doing warfare prayers and hedge of protection. He preaches to me, but he ignored my call. Even the police couldn't understand why he didn't turn up. So I got in a taxi today, and the police are the ones that have triggered this suicidal state. I've been down at Eastbourne police desk, and this Tracy told me to take the injunction order to my local MP. My MP caseworker is going to phone me tomorrow. He was meant to ring me on Tuesday. I rang my local MP office today in distress. I'm this woman who thinks, oh, it's nothing to do with me. I'm not responsible. I'm sorry that you don't do anything stupid. I've got to go by. They want me out of here in 3 days' time. I've been here since January trying to get settled. They moved me to the second floor. I'm struggling with this loss of blood, this severe anemia. You can see how pale I am. I'm struggling getting up the stairs. The lift doesn't work. It costs too much to fix the lift. The reviews of this hotel on TripAdvisor are the worst reviews I've read of any hotel. They're lying in even Tanya. Tanya, that's my eldest sister's name. There's a lovely beachy head chaplain called Tanya. I really, really like her. It's very strange that she's got my eldest sister's name, but I really like her. She's really concerned for me. She actually went up to the paramedics and said again, look, she said she's going to come back up here again. Well, I can't guarantee what I will or won't do because I feel I will be back up there, because if they're telling me they want me out of here in 3 days' time and I'm on severe disability, the lift doesn't work. They moved me from the first floor to the second floor. He said he had a bigger room. I said I wanted a room with a bath. I'm a bath person. So he said I can put you in a bigger room. It's not bigger. And he's put a fridge in. It's very strange. All of this is just so weird. They're all lying. They're all acting weird. There's a fridge over there in the corner. As you can see, there's the fridge over there. And I went into Poundland and I bought a brand new mop and bucket to mop the floor to get it all cleaned up. I've got post coming to this hotel because the landlady who has stolen my valuables, I wanted to replace what she has stolen. She's in contempt of court. She was told at the final hearing on the 8th of August 2024, District Judge Harper said he could send her to prison. Last year, the police were beating, arresting me, bruising me because I turned down a voluntary interview. And I'm going to send this video to Donald Trump. So if you were afraid of me before, you're going to be even more afraid of me now. Your crimes against us the people, Section 135 of the Criminal Justice Act 1984, for torturing people, that's up to life in prison. And today you've done it again. Well done, Eastbourne Police. PC Williamson, the young lad who was there in Eastbourne A&E when I was locked out of my SDR flat on news that my father had died, and I still don't know how my father died. And the Swan advocate said it's illegal for Barwells for my sisters to go through my father's things without me. I was the one who paid the Salvation Army to find my father in 2014, or I think it was it might have been 2013 or 2014. And I got a letter from my father on Facebook. I can prove that he wanted to see me. My eldest sister wanted to dance on his grave. She told me that when I was 9. She chased him away on my 12th birthday and I never saw him again. I am 43, going to be 44 next month. My mother was alive, she would be exactly twice my age. She was my age when she had me, 44, nearly 45. And I'm in a, even the even the paramedic on Beachy Head said to me, I can't understand why you're living in a hotel. Or why are English people, indigenous people dying on the streets? Why are there war vets? Did that member of staff tell us we had to leave because they were closing this hotel down for asylum seekers, or as my partner says, inscripts? Sorry, I mean conscripts, you know, conscripts into the army, as in the military thing. Yeah. So this, I'm being very careful not to say which hotel I am in, but this member of staff, apparently he's Lebanese, kept saying to me, don't relax, relax. And then when this, he wanted to, there was, do you know what? I've been so thankful for how kind and helpful they've been. They gave me a plate of food last Friday when I was sexually assaulted. Before I was sexually assaulted by this young lad, I was putting a key in the door and I was basically touched like that. He went through the door to his mates in that room. They smoke cannabis. I think they come from up north. They have northern accents. He came back through this door, looked at me, and went to touch me whilst looking at me. And that's when I shouted, "You've just assaulted me!" Now, because there's no CCTV right outside my room, it's up the other end. I was the one who played it down to the police. I said, I'm too old for this, I'm used to this sort of thing. It's no big deal. It might sound silly. One of the young male police officers said, you're not being silly. I've got complaints to make. He's written it down. He wrote this down to me. I've got complaints to make because I can't get through to 101, and the 999 number has to put me through to 101 because the phone, there's something really weird. It's like they've bugged my phone. I can't get through to NHS 111. The phone cuts out. It goes beep beep. And someone actually said to me a few years ago, "Does this happen to you a lot?" As if, well, we know there's a lot of nefarious activity going on. The funny thing is, the humorous thing is, and I'm not in the mood for humour, obviously, given I've had to remain as calm as I can, because my distress earlier was treated as a breach of the peace. I'm a rape victim. Every time I've reported crime to Eastbourne police in the last 10 years, I've been arrested. I've been the problem. And I was saying to the Beachy Head chaplains about how I met John Alexander Patterson from the Royal Commission in the psychiatric unit. He was exposing fraud, theft, money laundering, and baby organ harvesting on the NHS. And Eastbourne police were out of their jurisdiction. I think he went to, it was either the Royal Courts of Justice where he was assassinated or Scotland Yard, but Eastbourne police, blue light flashing, shoved him in the psych unit. They've never wanted to help me with anything, so it's been an eye opener. I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, and of course, before I was locked out of my SDR living flat on news, my father died. Ray Savage, who dated the mother of children I played with, he's from a village not too far from here. I don't want to say where it is, but it's a small village in the sticks where I had a happy childhood with the children of the mother he dated. And Ray Savage at the conference, he was exposing the Freemasons, and he met Ella Draper, the victim of the satanic Hampstead thing, and all of that, and etc. So, um, and then I was locked out of my flat. Mark Devlin was there as well, who's exposed the satanic music industry. I was just telling this lovely beachy head chaplain how I used to chase after Adamant, and that his best friend worked across the road from our house, a famous punk who was on a list of mysterious, dodgy deaths on Mark Devlin's wall, which is interesting because Adamant had written to me about his demons of mental illness when he made the Channel 4 documentary. This is all thanks to my sister speaking to his punk friend who is now dead. And I still don't know how my father died either. But my sister, I had to try and explain to her, she's living as a man, and I had to explain to her that they refer to the LGBT agenda as the Baphomet agenda. And Adamant worships Baphomet, this satanic thing, idol, with the goat's head and the half man, half woman thing. And I was listening to Sean Atwood and one of the MK Ultra survivors just the other day. I'm going off on a tangent here, but basically it was another one of those satanic horror stories where this American woman she witnessed children in the military underground. Her father was in the military, like Adamant, like so many of the famous people, and she witnessed children having their organs removed while they were still alive. She has said, do not take pharmaceuticals. So it's interesting, really, because the irony that just had a nasty piece of work, a hotel guest harassing me here. You can't escape it. There's mental illness everywhere. So you're going to get these drug using, cannabis smoking, goodness knows what people in these places. Oh, you need to take some medication. And I had it down at the police desk, this man who just started harassing me. I said, could you just leave me alone? I can't hear because of you. Yeah, I'm in a heightened state because I'm distressed because I'm a victim of the corruption as well as crime. Do you see what I mean? I then get police officers coming in. Thanks a lot, Tracy, from the police desk. I've just been telling the beachy head chaplains about you. Oh, I suppose are you going to now say what this woman from warming up the homeless said? That if I talk about her on my YouTube channel, she'll sue me. I've reported warming up the homeless to the Charity Commission, and I still haven't read my response from them because I've got so much going on. I'm on my own dealing with all of this. I've got 2 lawyers, including a director, who are being investigated for. I've recorded their lies and corruption. Go and have a look on Trustpilot at the reviews of the legal ombudsman. Very interesting. One of the appalling reviews has given a phone number because they've had a law firm shut down because of all the corruption. And of course, go and have a look at the YouTube video, illegal eviction scam Bexhill from March last year. I mean, these are being sent to me from the universe or Abiy Yahweh or what? Because Marion, that woman in that YouTube video, an elderly fraud investigator who said that Mr. Holden has 16 pages of corruption against him, including sexual harassment, and that she used to work with him, a very intelligent woman. Well, guess what? She too, like John Alexander Patterson of the Royal Commission, intelligent people, were both sectioned. So, and District Judge Harper told me to go to the local MP, to go to Mr. Holden, to go to the council. They've done all these horrific things to me and they don't like me because I'm basically an intelligent woman who doesn't take big pharma, who doesn't take illegal drugs, and I don't even like smoking. If you come anywhere near me with a cigarette and I'm clean, you, you I'm just gonna wait till you're out, you're gone. I don't want you anywhere near me. I've got OCD. So my body is clean from all that crap. But I'm just saying that the MK Ultra people are saying it's Operation Paperclip. They've perfected this. All goes back, Big Pharma. It all goes back to when the Nazis came over here, to America, sorry, Operation Paperclip. And the Nazi experiments went underground, and it was called MK Ultra, and they did these satanic experiments. It's a bit like Joseph Mengele's, basically. I've been to Auschwitz in Poland, and believe me, the horrors of what I saw and heard, and there was still a lot more that I hadn't heard until now with the internet. I went there in 1998. So, anyway, so. Oh, gosh. I mean, they're saying that Disney World, oh, the happiest place on earth, but they did the same. They're doing similar stuff. They're horrific things to children at Disneyland, because he was a 33rd degree Freemason, and all that satanic stuff that they do to children and stuff. But anyway, I've gone off on another tangent, so I'm going to make this really quick. So this has been over 20 minutes already. So because so I reported the sexual assault. Police messed me around. They put me, when I reported, because what had happened was I lost sleep over this, of course, when I'm already struggling to sleep and function. So I just want to get this over with, because this guy, a few weeks ago, when my partner stormed out of the hotel, I was on the first floor. Last month, I was on the first floor, and I told that creep about how I was honest with him about what the police had done to me over my free speech. But anyway, my partner stayed with me for a few nights, and then he turned nasty, and well, it's just I can't see the wood through the trees anymore. And I've just been saying I don't know if it's because of face. There are a lot of people who are just lying, and their lies are going to be exposed. They're all going to be exposed. So anyway, I'll keep to the point. So there's my lamp. You can see I bought, trying to get settled. The whole reason why I'm in a hotel with my own bath and my own space, so I don't have to deal with these idiots. They're harassing me. I'm a rape. This is why I've got to tell you and Morrison. In fact, I will film my conversation with him. And you know what? If you want to ring up the office and say, "Oh, Brian's going to publish you speaking," please do that. Please do that. I find it quite amusing that they've changed. I say amusing, the code to this hotel. Guess what? What was the likelihood? Seriously, ask. Listen, you could make this shit up if you tried. What was the likelihood that they would change the code to get into this hotel to the same 4-digit code that's my MP JB0 number? You get a four digit 4-digit reference for your local MP caseworker reference number. Yeah, it's the exact same 4 digits in the same order. No zeros. There's four different digits in the same order. No zeros. I'm not going to say what the number is. although I might have said it on Facebook, so it might be out there. But what was the likelihood that they would put the same 4-digit number, four different numbers, no zeros, same order of sequence? Yeah. So I thought if they've done it deliberately, I find that amusing. It doesn't spook me. I'm not scared, you know. But when I report a sexual assault twice, he did it twice. I dumbed it down to the police. So I had a female officer in here, PC Craft. She was fine. The reason why I then brought back, I went down to the police desk, um, and they called out police. Tracy on the police desk called out the police again for me. Bearing in mind, as I said, this is the same Tracy whom I gave the injunction order to prove that this landlady has breached the order and stolen my valuables. Well, she's already been told by District Judge Harper she could be sent to prison, but she's never been arrested, and she's stolen my valuables. She's committed. So, once again, I'm the victim of another crime here. And Tracy on the police desk, she used to be an Eastbourne PCSO. She's called out police to me again. I've got the names of the officers here because he wrote it down for me. PC Pellegru EB182. PC Craft was the first female who turned up on her own. And PC Roger EB690. Now, PC Craft, the female, I didn't realise that she had said to Waleed, this member of staff who's been inappropriate with me, but kind and helpful as well, that I should be put that I should be put in the basement where I suppose where I'm safer. I don't know, but apparently she said no. Maybe she did do that because she genuinely wants to help. Because there's no CCTV outside my room, but there's CCTV down the other end. Because now, I might also add that while I was ringing 999 and reporting the incident, this member of staff was tapping my knee, and I said, "Could you not touch my knee, please?" Because as it was earlier on in the day, before the assault, he'd come into my room and done this to my cheek, like that. And I don't like people touching me, but I didn't say anything. What the thing that really got to me was a few weeks ago when I was on the first floor back in January, and Darren, my partner, had stormed out because we're still in this loop of why do these things keep happening to me, and why is he behaving the way he is, this sort of thing. So he'd said to me that he'd made it quite clear to Waleed that he was my partner. So I'm like, look, I've just been saying to him, I don't trust you. Why did you say that? What is going on? Like, why did you tell the landlady? Why did you tell me in the landlady's house why did you scream at me to prosecute you? Why did you say you're afraid of going to prison? Why all this gaslighting? What is going on, Because the fact that these police officers couldn't understand why Darren hasn't been here to support me whenever something happens. But then they themselves, they have, thanks to this Tracy on the police desk, they've treated me like I'm the problem, and they treated my distress as a breach of the peace. My distress at the crimes and their corruption is a breach of the peace. So I can't even be distressed. You can't, in this country, you can't feed the pigeons without being arrested. You can't have an opinion because of George Orwell's 1984. I want to talk to Donald Trump. I don't care if he did say something about grabbing a woman's pussy. I don't care. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is how desperate I am. I'm a rape victim. I put someone in prison for, I don't want to use the technical words because they're too graphic. I was taken to the Saturn Rape Victim Centre in Crawley, and I had medical examination, swabs, and all of that, photographs of my private parts as evidence for the jury, and all that. The judge at Hove Crown Court was lovely, and I put I've even got the name of the assailant who was sent to prison for 2 years and 10 years on a sex offenders register. I was sexually harassed by a hotel guest at Pearl and Pebbles Hotel. Why? Because I'm that vulnerable. I had no one to talk to. I was terrified of going to prison as a political prisoner. I love my sister, because I did what Darren suggested. Didn't actually do it. My partner suggested I leave a card and flowers for her. And I was told by a desk sergeant that if I did that, I'd go to prison. So nothing makes sense. But Donald Trump is helping people with their free speech. I love the fact that he said Sadiq Khan is a nasty man. As I like Katie Hopkins. I wasn't sure about her some years ago, but now I really like her now that I've listened to her. Um, yeah, she wants to stay in America. Well, it's like Graham Linehan from the Irish writer of what do you call it, Father Ted. He he's he's Irish, but he needs to flee the UK to America for the same reason that I feel the need to. Do you know what I mean? I've never wanted to leave my homeland. But now that I'm 43, I've been tortured. I've lost. Look at how pale I am. I've lost blood. I was practically hemorrhaging through women's problems for 2 weeks non-stop. It's very frightening stuff. And this happened to my eldest sister. Actually, she had to have a hysterectomy. My mother had to have a hysterectomy before her cancer spread. And this is absolutely killing me now. They're evil. They're absolutely evil people. So, yeah, because Mr. Holden was going to help me make a subsequent claim against the council for illegally locking me out of a flat on news my father had died. The supported flat scam. And I told the Beachy Head chaplains all of this, how Andy Camfield, the Lansdowne hotel manager, is now in prison for 7 years for defrauding my eldest sister's friend who was on the local ITV news. This hotel manager, prior to him being sentenced and on the ITV news, he had helped me because I was locked out of the flat in my nightwear. And he said we get complaints all the time about that place, and he contacted the head of police. They've been part of all of this. It's, they go to the Facebook page Survivors of the Linwood Saffron. I was there when it was the Linwood Saffron, same staff, same abuse. One of them was sacked for turning up drunk. And these people are trained to deal with complex needs 24/7. And this is why I want to meet Rupert Lowe, because Rupert Lowe said, lunatics are running the asylums. Come to Eastbourne and you'll see it. So, left, right, and centre. So, yeah. There's so much of it in the hotels. I left a voice message for Alan. Alan, this was actually while the police were harassing me and torturing me as a victim of a sex crime, and I'm a rape victim. They came in, they were harassed. I was scared. I sat down because I thought, I don't know what they'll do to me. They've done horrible things to me. Four of them came in, and like I said, one of them was PC Williamson, who had turned up that time when I was in A&E, when I was locked out of my supported flat scam. And he lied on the spot there and then. He said, I never said that to you. When I said, oh, You said I should put in a formal complaint about these thugs that have ripped my shirt, broken my phone, PC McCarthy, who beat me on Beachy Head, called Darren a CUNT to my face. You told me I should report them and they might get the sack. I never said that. You see, they just lie. All they do is lie, and they're soulless. There's nothing there in them. I'm talking about Eastbourne police thugs earlier today. That's what's triggered this. Them and this member of staff who's been inappropriate with me. So they've been helpful. They put a fridge in here. They've let me use the washing machine. They closed down this hotel for asylum seekers a few years ago. Now, can I just say, right, this member of staff, Walid, he initially thought, he asked me if it was my partner that had sexually assaulted me. And the irony is that I had my partner on loudspeaker to him on the Friday saying that this is not, I said, can you explain to him that this is not right? Because he's saying to me, maybe he felt something for you. He's dirty, the dirty man. He's Lebanese. He said, oh, maybe he felt something for you. And my partner said, I said, tell him. And my partner said, no. If you enter a woman's space, and you touch her, he said, would you want that happening to you? But he wasn't listening. I had my partner on loudspeaker. But this same member of staff that is, I said, you've lied, you're abusing me, you're exploiting me. I had it out with him the other day, a few weeks ago, when after my partner stormed out. I don't know what happened there, but I was asked to be, he asked me if I would take this room, which is another floor up. So I've had to go. He knows that the lift doesn't work. He knows I've lost blood. It's exhausting going up and down the stairs. So he's put me up another floor. I've got a room with a bath. I'm happy with that. I've got a fridge over there. That's because it's just one thing after another. I've got all these emails to send, and the one that I've got to send something, I've sent something to the investigator at the legal ombudsman. I'm barely sleeping, barely functioning. So trying to get settled in this room. I've asked if they could fix the lift. Well, I'm being told now that he showed me a room in the basement, which is spacious, and I said, thank you, but no thank you. And it's got a shower. The whole reason why he put me in this room, upper floor, from from the first floor to the second floor, he's put me in a room with a bath. But he's moved me up a floor, and I had to lug all the cases and things up the stairs. And I'm in poor health. Why do this? Just why? And then, so I'm paying weekly to stay here. Now all of a sudden he doesn't want me here. We're fully booked. And the Beachy Head chaplain says it's nonsense. And she doesn't believe that the police said to him not to speak to me. It's not making any sense. Because why would these police officers give me this information to make complaints about this stupid Jason? I was put through to 101, through 999, because I can't get through to 101. They put me through to a Jason. No, you haven't been sexually harassed. No, this, no. Really? Haven't I, Jason? Haven't I? They've given me the details to make a complaint about you, Jason. Some silly boy 101 call handler. So it's not sexual harassment for an employee of a hotel to talk about sex to you and almost saying, oh, your partner's not coming back then. He said, oh, sex is good, sex will help you. He denied saying that. I said, yes, you did. You said it twice, and I pretended not to understand your accent. That's why he said it a second time. So then when I'm actually sexually assaulted by a young lad whilst I'm putting the key to my door, his response, this member of staff that has sexually harassed me, says, well, maybe he felt something. And I had to get my partner to explain to him, and he asked me if it was my partner that had sexually assaulted me, and my Darren is saying to him, no, you don't touch a woman. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't been touched up by anyone from any other ethnicity. They've all been English white people. All my life, they've all been English white people, except for that Rastafarian guy. But that doesn't really count. I just think he just wanted to abduct me. And then I was a child at the time. He kissed me on the face. A kiss is, I don't know if a kiss is considered sexual assault on the I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. So keep to the point. The point I'm making is they want me out of here in 2 days' time, and my body can't sustain it. And I was with the Beachy Head chaplains for a long time, you know, talking to them about everything that's happened. I believe in putting the truth out there, keep telling people, keep talking about it, talking about the whistleblowers, the people I've met. And I really liked that lady, Tanya, the Beachy Head chaplain. I really liked her. I was crying and getting upset about Darren because he deliberately didn't answer the door. He didn't answer the phone, and now he's only just phoned me. The police couldn't understand why he was ignoring me. Why do these things keep happening? Why am I being told that if I don't take the basement flat, then they don't want me here? And we're not buying this bullshit. No, it's just lies. The Beachy Head chaplain said it doesn't make sense. This isn't peak season. It's February. They're not fully. They're not. Of course, they're not fully booked. It's February. The reviews on TripAdvisor of this hotel are the worst I've ever seen of any hotel ever, and I've seen the worst. I think there's one green blob, what you would call 1 star, which means the worst of the worst. Terrible. There are people who have posted disgusting things about this hotel. Thankfully, I haven't had that problem, or I wouldn't be here. That someone posted a picture of a massive cockroach. I'm surprised that TripAdvisor allowed it, because I took a picture of a massive cockroach that my partner had to get, or I would have been screaming, at the Burlington Hotel. I mean, one time their hot water wasn't working all night, and there's a horrible girl on the desk there. She's covered in tattoos. She's got long dreadlocks. I think she's from Birmingham. She's a funny one. She's worked in the psychiatric unit. You see, there's a lot of funny people. And, you're not going to bully me out of Eastbourne. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Okay? And I said to Tanya, that I said to the Beachy Head chaplain, I said, I'm more than likely going to come back up here. And that's when she said, look, she went up to the paramedics. She said, look, she says she's going to come back up here. They're worried that I'm not going to get the help. I've told them the horror stories. I've told them as much as I can. I recorded the ward review in 2019. It was around the time of COVID, around the time that I was in this hotel and that member of staff was closing it down for asylum seekers, as in illegal immigrants. This is why I've got to talk to this woman who works for Donald Trump. I'm being deadly serious about that. I really am, because I want them to know what is going on in this country, but particularly in this town, because I was at the Strand Hotel, which was another hotel that was 30% of the hotels have been used in Eastbourne for illegal immigrants, apparently, even in New Haven, where I spent my childhood. And I was at the Strand Hotel, which was closed down. Sorry, it was on GB News for illegal immigrants some time ago. And that thug on the desk, that Philip, threatened to assault me when I received that 5-page poison pen letter from a very disturbed individual. And yeah, and that was the same hotel in the summer that the police came and asked me if I'd attended a voluntary interview, and a whole load of them. I've got the first 20 minutes recorded, filmed onto my laptop, and I've posted it on YouTube back in May, so that's quite a few videos back. And I want Donald Trump to know about it, because Kelly J. Keane wasn't interested. I turned up with all the bruises. She didn't want me to speak again. Um, because I'd talked about irrelevant things, like I played a recording of a criminal on a tag threatening to beat me senseless at 3 a.m. I mean, is it let women speak or isn't it? But anyway, yeah, so despite what all the articles say about Donald Trump, there's an article by the Daily Mirror that says that Donald Trump's ex-wife said he raped her, and people are saying that he's sexually assaulted people. Now, I don't know that, of course, and I'm never going to know that. But at the end of the day, speaking as a rape victim, I've had it ever since I was a child. My mother and I used to joke about it, because we had to have that resilience, because we've always attracted perverts. Ever since we were children, we've been touched up and exposed to, and unfortunately, I'm the one who's inherited that from my mother. She even used to get flashes on the subway in New York, and just as well that Anne got the ones with the guns, because she was married into the mafia, so she knew how to handle it. She had a gun herself. And as Bronya said, it's like Cagney and Lacey. I see my mother as the blonde one and Anne as the dark haired one, the one Italian American. So yeah, that bit in Cagney and Lacey in the opening credits where he flashes and they go, that's a very mum thing. Which is why Bronya, Tanya laughed we learned that when Mum did that scene with Sam Neill in Wimbledon, she was asked to give him a disapproving look. Because she had a very middle class upbringing, and she was asked to give him a sort of blink and you'll miss it. But my mother did a scene with Sam Neill, which they cut short, and she sort of had to look at him like, that's not how you behave in. It's kind of amusing that Sam Neill, I say amusing, Sam Neill played the Antichrist Damien, as he was the president of the US in The Omen 3. And now I want to contact someone who works for Donald Trump, and I'm trying to get away from all this satanic stuff. So I shouldn't be smiling. I don't know why I'm smiling. I smile about things that are. I smile when I'm talking about this stuff, and I don't know why. It's just a disassociative thing. I'm desensitized, because look at what's been done to me. That I've never known so much psychopathy in all my life. So yeah, so Why would I want to talk to a president? Because I'm not looking over there. I'm looking over here. So if the president has has sexually assaulted or raped someone, according to the Daily Mirror, well, I don't know. I know that I want to talk to someone that just wants to support no one else's. And to be honest, I've been looking forward to this all my life because I've always been ashamed to be English because, the way British people behave. And I just wish that my mother had stayed at sea because she lived in America in the 50s and 60s. She served Harry Belafonte at a gas station where she worked. They call it gas station, we say petrol station. And I won't use the racial term, but the woman used the N word, and it was just awful because it was a time when black people were persecuted, and she was well tipped by this black famous actor Harry Belafonte. It's like when she met Jean Kelly when she worked at Woman's Magazine in England, and I envy her so much because I love these people. I went through a period when I was 12 and I fancied I really, I liked, well, I always did like Jean Kelly. But my mother, she had an illegal abortion in 1958 in Pennsylvania by a man selling his body to other men. So there's a lot. Mum had, and then she wanted to settle in New Zealand. She also lived in Canada. This is where she got her Canadian nose. That's why she doesn't look like me, because she had a nose job. And, did my dear mother. So she used to get seasonal affective disorder. She didn't want to come back to this country. But she said what I'm now saying, which is people moan and nobody does anything in this country. But I'm so vulnerable now that I've been the victim of all this nonsense. And all you want is for someone to just do their job, to do what I could have got a child to do. And it's a joke. And all I'm seeing is these YouTube videos about, you know, you can't feed the pigeons and you can't have an opinion. There are people in prison for their free speech. Apparently, the UK is now the number one Islamic state in Europe. So they want Sharia law. So what they want to behead us now, do they? If we're, I don't know, that's what Sharia law does, doesn't it? And I'm just so glad that America is pointing the finger at every damn person in this damn country because I'm disgusted with everyone in this country. And today is just proving it. I watch YouTube as part of my YouTube. That is my therapy because what I'm seeing is happening to everyone else in the UK. I'm not alone. That is my therapy. But having said that, I don't have access to those people. I've been alone in all of this, in this bloody hotel with all of this going on now. I haven't got a life. This is just a daily fight for survival. I want to. The whole reason why I'm in a hotel is so I don't have to, for one reason, so I can shut the world out. I can't be in a house share. I got a landlady in contempt of court. She wanted to help me write a book. She's a retired matron who worked for the Princess Royal whatever hospital, and she's friends with Charles Lucas Property. She's friends with the very property managers, Charles Lucas Property Management, who were protecting criminals who were mugging the elderly and off their heads on cocaine. And the BBC, I couldn't believe it. They were at the BBC mentioned the mother and daughter jailed for 5 years for mugging the elderly. Sherelle Clark and Dion Clark, and I looked them up, and they'd been doing the same thing on the Isle of Wight 2 years The council and Brighton Housing Trust were protecting those criminals. They kept arresting me. I've got a recording of this Sherelle Clark attacking me, and another one in that house that threatened to beat me senseless at 3 a.m. She was a criminal on a tag. Now, what I'm about to say is really, really, really serious. It says it all. It's all serious. Why would I want to go to the crisis team? This is what I was just saying to all of them. I recorded a ward review in the psychiatric hellhole where Dr. Naliwala is saying that he'll help me with housing and all of this. And then I start speaking. So Jackie, the ward manageress in the Eastbourne psych unit, Bryony, 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 we're going to focus. I said, no, Jackie, you're going to focus. She didn't like that. This is why she's no longer working as a ward manageress. Sorry, not ward. Yeah, no, she's a ward manageress. Yeah, she was. She left the job probably because of me. So she threatened me with police. We want you to collect your things and leave. Right, well, I'm calling the police. And I just recorded Dr. Naliwala saying we'll help you in Eastbourne. And I was handcuffed in hospital pajamas in A&E. I've been beaten, injured, everything. This is why the Beachy Head chaplains need to hear all of this. If it's the last thing I say on this godforsaken earth, because it tells you everything you need to hear, and if you don't have ears to hear, then that's your funeral. You know, I don't want a funeral. If you couldn't be there for me when I was going through it, I don't want you there after. No, I'm being deadly, deadly serious. Earlier, when I went up Beachy Head suicidal, I left the gifts here. I said in my Facebook video, I said, here you go, Darren. If I go and top myself, you're ignoring me and this sleaze bag here. So this sleazy man that works in this hotel, who's probably a bit panicky because I've called him out for his behaviour, because what he did was actually sexual harassment. Actually, maybe that's why the police really have said to him not to speak to me, because I've called him out. But at the same time, I want to speak to his manager and he won't do that. I need to speak to his manager. The staff have stopped being available. It's just too much. It's too much. They want me out of this hotel with nowhere to go, with no energy. I've lost blood. I've lost. I haven't got the energy. The lift doesn't work. Oh God. The Beachy Head chaplain is worried I'll be back up on Beachy Head. Well, they're killing me. They're literally killing me. So I've got to talk to you and Morrison tomorrow. I've got to talk to you and Morrison tomorrow, the caseworker for my local MP. And he was meant to ring me on Tuesday. Because he's looking into what the council have done with my storage unit that they sold at Rockhurst Drive. They've been doing all these nefarious things. They've deregistered me from several doctors' practices, so I've got no doctor, no home. They're killing me. I'm an indigenous woman and they are killing me. Do they want me to end up on crutches like my sister, who needs help washing and dressing? But I love her. I want to leave a card and flowers for her, and I'm threatened with prison. All because of my freedom of expression, because I refuse to call my sister a man, because on one of the buses I lost it with one of the mental health nurses who was on the bus, and I said, "You celebrate this satanic agenda, and my sister can't walk. She she needs help washing and dressing what has been done to her, and you celebrate this satanic agenda." The black belt barrister has put it on the screen in one of his YouTube videos about our freedom of expression, and all the while the police have committed Section 135 of the Criminal Justice Act 1984, life in prison for torturing people. They've tortured me. Eastbourne police have tortured me. But I've been lied to and threatened today. No, I wasn't threatened, but I've been told I need to leave the hotel in a couple of days despite reporting sexual assault. So this is why I need them to get evidence of this case where I put someone in prison for rape, because it proves my vulnerability. So there we go. So I'm going to end this live stream in a minute, this video in a minute, because I've said it all. I'm going to finish on one note, because this is absolutely critical. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, I told the Beachy Head chaplains how Juliet Rawson is now dead, a deceased cancer patient who came with me to A&E to see the crisis team to speak on my behalf. And the crisis team said, "She shouldn't be here if she's got cancer." And I was fuming because I said, "I've brought her here because of you not helping me. She's here to help me because of you not wanting to help me." So this is what I'm saying. So Caroline Ansell ignored a crucial witness statement from Juliet Rawson when I was attacked at Belmore Road by those criminals I mentioned. She was a witness. Well, guess what? I got a leaflet from the job centre when I was speaking to the woman who, the only person that's ever helped me, because all my late father's inheritance has gone on all the hotels. This woman helped me set up housing, universal credit housing for the hotels I've been in. Her name is Bethany. And so it's thanks to her. She also was the one who contacted adult social care, who didn't get back to me for months. I've spoken to Mark today. I said, what about Mark Stanton, head of adult social care? He sent me round the town in circles in one whole day. The caseworker, did. The caseworker for the former MP before Caroline Ansell, the South African guy. Because it's now Mr. Babarundi, isn't it? Mr. Babarundi had ignored me as councillor before he became an MP. I've only spoken to him very briefly once, and he said he was a victim of my YouTube channel. And to date, I've had no explanation. I had a personal email from him inviting me to a meeting last month, and this woman on the police desk, Tracy, who's played victim today, and the police, that's the whole reason why I was suicidal on Beachy Head a few hours ago. So I'm the victim of a crime. I'm the problem, despite what they've done to me. So this woman at the job centre, she set up the payments for housing. She set up the housing, help with housing payments towards the hotels. And she also contacted adult social care, and for months they've never got back to me. I'm now in crisis. I'm the victim of yet another crime, and Mark isn't doing anything. So I need to talk to the MP caseworker, because Ewan is lying to me. They did. Do you know what? All those women, they ignored. I don't remember their names at my local MP office, but they all remember me. I don't remember their names or their faces. I went to the meeting. They'd ignored my voice messages and all my emails for a whole year. I go to the meeting and they're like, Hello, Bryony. All right. I've got all these problems. They've done all of this crisis. This was in the Beacon, Arndale, and the support services. It was a housing meeting. Support services. What you're talking about? The very Citizens Advice Bureau and the very Brighton Housing Trust that have been complicit in all this corruption. Their duty solicitors were going to help me make a counterclaim until they realised that their support workers have put me in rent arrears by opening and closing a case. Brighton Housing Trust were protecting the mother and daughter, later jailed for 5 years for mugging the elderly. The police protect criminals. They turn a blind eye to the fact that they were mugging the elderly, attacking me at 12 Belmore Road. They like to protect the criminal. They like to control. They just do their own thing, and it's been killing me. I thought I was going to be killed at 12 Belmore Road. So there we go. So there we go. So the point that I'm making here is, I need to end this video now. I need to end the video. I was just going to finish by saying I took a leaflet from the job centre. A woman who helps domestic abuse victims and victims of the Ukrainian war. Her name is Claire. She works at Leaf Hall. She was very honest with me. She described Caroline Ansell, our former MP, as an effing bitch. Well, I appreciated her honesty because Caroline Ansell had ignored a now deceased cancer patient. The crisis team hadn't wanted to help me, and I've still got Juliet Rawson's crucial witness email to me being attacked at that property, because Josh Burundi said he was a victim of my YouTube channel, which contains crucial criminal evidence of me being attacked. Someone even watched me live in America. It's in the live chat. In the early hours, watched me being attacked with blood on the door. Saw the cops turn up. He said, "Your cops are useless. They don't do anything." In fact, that's another thing to tell Donald Trump. I'm so embarrassed by. Do you know what? There's a boy in my year at school when I was 15, 16. A thug, a real fat thug. He apparently went on to murder someone, but it couldn't be proven. Yeah, I went to a really nice school. I was mentioned in the Seaford Gazette as being pushed to suicide because of bullying. It's nothing compared to what I'm going through now, and I'm 43. So, yeah, so basically what happened was this boy at school, he had some American students, and I was so embarrassed. Exchange students, and I remember him saying, this thug, he pointed at me, Heather, and Kelly. Heather is now a peripatetic music teacher. She's played in the Royal Albert Hall, and I expect her father was a Freemason because he used to be mayor of East Croydon. This fat thug said to the American exchange students, pointing at me, Heather, and Kelly, "Don't talk to them three are sad." So the thing that what I'm trying to say is what I'm seeing in these hotels, what I'm getting from members of the public and so-called public servants who should be in prison for torturing, for up to life in prison for malfeasance of office, for what they've been doing to me and other people. It's worse. It's worse than that. This is why I need my own space so I can shut the world out. I need my own bath, my own space. So there you go. So when you've got a paramedic saying to you, "Why are you in a hotel?" There's someone directly below me who goes to work. So they live here. enough housing, eh? Hmm. But anyway, we know what we know what's going on with that. So there we go. I'm going to finish this live stream. Oh, that's what I was going to say. The leaflet I got from the job centre, this woman at Leaf Hall, a few weeks ago, I had told her about how this member of staff, Walid, had made me uncomfortable by talking about sex being a good thing. And, oh, is your partner not coming back? Ooh. Ugh. And she said to me, well, you should tell him to fuck off. Now, I don't swear at people, not by nature. I wouldn't do that. I wasn't brought up to swear. I don't like swearing. Even when I feel like swearing, I don't like swearing. I don't like it. My partner doesn't even like me using the word fart. But can you imagine, though, if I'd taken her advice? This same woman who helps domestic abuse victims and victims of the Ukrainian war is telling me to tell this Wally to F off, and now he doesn't want me in this hotel. I wouldn't tell him to F off because he sexually harassed me and was a bit too tactile. He now doesn't want me in the hotel because I've been sexually assaulted and the police have also abused me. So there you go. If I'm back up on Beachy Head, if I go and put myself in day, if I do anything, it's a miracle what I've survived. To survive just one of those things is just, there we go. That's me done. Just thought I would do. I said I'd make a short video and it's been over an hour, but never mind. I've got everything off my chest, so there we go.